8 a.m., Chris. Tuesday morning, we have an actual ring walk time. Inoue, Fulton is here. This is our last podcast before this fight, but there is a preview on our YouTube page right now. Go check it out. Inoue, Fulton, all that is right with boxing. An intriguing matchup. If Inoue wins, you can pencil him in as the number one pound for pound guy, maybe for a few days. If Fulton wins, he jumps into the top five. Inoue moving up in weight. Will his power translate to another weight class? Fulton, a bigger guy, trying to solidify himself. So many storylines. Great fight in Japan, where it belongs, not here in the U.S., where they actually support these guys. I'm excited for this fight. We'll be up. We'll have a podcast directly after the fight. 8 a.m., Chris. Kegs and eggs. Let's go.
I'm jacked. I'm gonna be there with my probably my mimosa, watching the fight, all excited. And then we'll be talking about it afterwards. This fight's awesome. We've done our previews. We talked about it a ton. It's a fight that we've been very excited about for the past year or so. Well, I guess it was the end of last year. So that's eight or 9 months we've been talking about this fight. And it looked like we were gonna lose this fight. And then Fulton dared to be great and decided to stay in the weight class, wait around for the biggest fight possible at the lighter weights against Inoue. The fight got pushed back. So we had the opportunity to lose it again, but now it's on, and it's the same week as Crawford Spence, like you mentioned. I mean, implications for pound that week is going to be off the charts. Like you can't even have a pound for pound right now. You got to wait for that week. You can't.
You have to wait.
Yeah,
you have to wait. If Inoue wins, he might be pound for pound number one. You can make that case, but it's only going to be
depending on how he wins. Yeah,
it's only going to be a few days because the winner of Spence Crawford, in my opinion. Not that I subscribe to pound for pound list, would be number one. I do like who's number one. I do like who's in the top five. I think Inoue's in the top five. I love it. I don't know if I even want to touch on this topic, but I want to get your thoughts. And it ties into some more stuff with media. And so Fight Hype puts out, they have a guy there, Sean Zattel. You've done interviews with him. He's a good.
Yeah, I know Sean. Yeah.
He's really good guy, really good reporter, loves the sport. He apparently was on a YouTube live, and it was like a 2-hour thing. This is a small snippet. And he is insinuating basically that the delay in the fight from May till now is a little suspect because Inoue tweeted that he doesn't like drawing blood for PED testing. 2 times in 1 week, Inoue tweeted, I don't like, he was pretty much complaining about being drug tested. And then this guy at Fight Hype says that Inoue is arrogant. He's spoiled. He likes everyone to kiss his ass in Japan. That's why he doesn't leave Japan. I met him here in Vegas, and he wasn't nice to the media. I don't like that aspect of what he was insinuating. Basically, in a minute-long clip, he was insinuating that it's a little suspect that the fight got moved, insinuating PED usage or kind of like dancing around it without any facts. And I hate that it has gained steam online because Inoue has never failed a test, and he never stopped being tested during the delay. So this fight is everything, like we said, everything that's pure about the sport, but there are some tricklings of PED usage for Inoue, even though it's baseless. Pissed me off.
Yeah, whenever you got a guy as dominant he is, and he carries the power from weight class to weight class the way that he has, it always gets brought up. But that's really the only reason that it's been speculated. I mean, now we're talking about this. I don't want to give blood during training. Like, I understand that giving blood during training
twice in a week.
Listen, drug testing sucks. Random drug testing in the middle of, I've been doing laps in a pool, and WADA or VADA or somebody showed up, and they're like, all right, well, it's time for you. I'm like, well, you're gonna have to wait till my workout's done. But yeah, okay. And then they sit there and they watch you train, and then you get out and you have to give blood and urine. Listen, during training camp's not fun, man. It's hard work. You're stressed, and the last thing you want to do is give your veins to somebody when you're dehydrated. They come show up as sparring. You're dehydrated. Now they got to stick a needle in you. It's not fun. Listen, we do it because we want a clean sport. We do it because we want everyone to understand that who we are is what we are, or what we are is who we are. Anyway, but yeah, I don't know. I think this seems more like speculation than anything, just because of his performances and how he's carried the power. Otherwise, I mean, talking about just complaining about giving blood, I don't think that's anything.
Right. He said he tweeted, it was like lost in translation, tweeting that like twice in a week. Oh man, that's annoying, which like you just said, no one would want to do that, but he is signed up to the random testing. He's never failed a test. He was tested during the delay. It was just an awkward moment from a really good reporter over at Fight Hype, and I don't like the linking of him not wanting to do media to him being arrogant. Like I've been snubbed by fighters constantly. Like it doesn't stop me from talking about how great they are. It doesn't stop me from I wouldn't hold a personal grudge. Like even Lomachenko, after the Teofimo fight, went on for weeks, Chris, talking about how CompuBox sucks and I can do better. They're wrong. Just going off on CompuBox. Do I hold a grudge over Lomachenko? No,
No.
because it's not how you should operate. Anyway, that's a small part of this fight. I don't think it's going to gain any more traction. I want to talk about the actual fight. To me, in this fight, the biggest factor, I want to see if you agree with me, is Inoue's power. Will it carry to 126? Because Fulton is easily the biggest fighter that he's ever fought, and Fulton can bully him with size. So I want to see if Inoue can land a big right. How is Fulton going to handle that? And if Fulton can handle it, is he going to use his size and bully Inoue? That makes this fight really intriguing.
Definitely the biggest fighter, not the biggest puncher though. Donaire was definitely the biggest puncher that Inoue faced, and he took some of those shots, broke his orbital in that first fight, and powered through to get the win. Yeah, I actually think the power is going to be fine. I don't think it's going to be as shocking at the weight, especially with a guy like Fulton who's really big for the weight class. But I think even Inoue's power, if you really look at it, power is a funny thing because a lot of different types. He's got that kind of thudding, break you down power that generally can travel up. And if he can put hands on Fulton and keep hands on him, I think he'll be able to break him down the way he does everyone else. But again, I don't think it's going to be super shocking where Fulton gets hit in the first round. It's like, oh no. So yeah, that I think early on it's going to be really, really I'm going to get on edge, seeing like, all right, how's Fulton going to take the punch? Is the punch going to be there? I don't think it's going to be that shocking early on. I think Fulton's going to be savvy enough to not get hit with anything too big early on. And even when he does, I think he's big enough to take it, big enough, tough enough. I don't, I don't know, but you never know. He is
Yeah,
the
with
monster for a
Fulton,
reason.
he is the monster for a reason. He's got thudding power, and we're going to see if it will translate at 126. With Fulton, has kind of changed his style up over the last couple of fights. The Angelo Leo fight was his breakout, and he threw 100 punches around. Before that, he was sitting in the 50s, so he doubled his output. You saw the fight against Figueroa, throwing 100 punches around routinely. A volume puncher. Will Fulton throw 100 punches around versus Inoue? No.
Absolutely not. You can't.
That would be not a good idea.
I
But
say it
will
all the
he
time. Combination punchers get hit. And when you got a guy like Inoue who's that dangerous, you cannot be getting hit.
Yeah, so Fulton's walking that tightrope, like 60 to 70 punches, maybe 50 to 60 range. He has to win this fight by outboxing Inoue. But it's going to be difficult for him because as a volume puncher now, going up against a really ferocious counter puncher and power guy, it's like a mental thing. Like you have to go out there and take those rounds, but you have to do so being cautious and not overselling. That's interesting too.
Well, there's no question. He has to fight a perfect fight. I can see it. I've analyzed both these fighters and watched a bunch of their last fights recently, last week, and going over, paths to victory for both men. I can see the path to victory for Stephen Fulton, but he has to fight a perfect fight because Inoue is a very, very dangerous guy. He's fundamentally perfect. He does everything right. His counters are great. He's got good speed, good hand speed, good combination punching, good body puncher, good counter puncher. He does it literally at all. Stephen Fulton, it needs to be either all the way out on the outside and boxing and moving and using his lateral movement, or all the way inside. Fulton's actually the superior inside fighter. He's fantastic from that little Philly shell where he can roll, and he's got a great uppercut on the inside. He doesn't get hit too much. He lets his hands go on the inside while still being defensively cautious, where Inoue sometimes can kind of freeze up on the inside, not let his hands go or throw one shot at a time. So Fulton being all the way out, using the length and reach advantage that he has over Inoue, or being all the way inside and using his stylistic advantages on the inside, I can see a path to victory. But even with all that being said, he still has to fight perfect, because that in-between range, that middle distance, Inoue is a destroyer. I mean, his power, his hand speed, his combination punching, and then he builds. Once he gets momentum, once he catches you with something, he follows up. He smells blood. He's got blood on the water, and he turns into a shark.
Yeah, he's got a lot of knockouts, a lot of consecutive knockouts. Looking at the odds on this fight, Stephen Fulton plus 250 underdog. Are you surprised by that? I
Woo!
think that's wide.
A little wide. That might be make me dig into my pocket. I might throw a little money on
Sprinkle,
Fulton. Throw a
sprinkle
little
a
money.
little.
Throw a little money on Fulton. As
But
much as I'm saying what I'm saying, I'm like, I see a path to victory.
I think Inoue is going to win. That's my official pick. Inoue decision. There will be some moments where Inoue's pushed. I just think he's just too much power, too dynamic. Just a little bit of a better talent than Fulton. I think it'll be a great fight. I think Fulton will have a great account of himself. He'll come back to the States with his head held high, and he can go up.
And his pocket's a little fatter.
Pockets really fatter. Yeah, my official pick is Inoue decision. But I can see a lot of different things happening outside of Fulton knocking Inoue down or out.
Yeah, that would be the most surprising of the group. I also am taking Inoue. I think he really is like that good. I think he's a top pound for pound guy. And not to take anything away from Fulton, I just think that Inoue, I think the Inoue train's unstoppable. I see it going to decision. But yeah, listen, I'm rooting for both, man. It would be an awesome upset for Fulton to get it, but I'm going with Inoue. That being said, I still might throw money on that plus 250.
Well, that's the thing. It's like that's how gambling works. Like I tweeted out yesterday, like Fulton 250, like sprinkle. They're like, no way, Inoue could lose. I was like, that's gambling. Like gambling is like I think Inoue's gonna win, but I'm also gonna hedge it with throwing some money on Fulton because that's a live dog. And Spence,
like, I'm also a compulsive,
I'm not
problematic
compulsive.
better.
I've gotten worse since working here and working with DraftKings.
I've noticed.
I always bet with
I've
my
taken
head,
note.
not over it. I with my head, not over it. And also